Alright, in this video we're going to finish up the binary clock, and what we have to do here is create our circles, organize them in a stack group, and set our colors to cut on depending on the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is the binary clock V1. You can find this in my free components folder, and I think it is bug free. I went ahead and cut the test on so we can see, it's paused right now, but we have the test on. And we've already talked about all the globals back in part 1. And now let's make this thing. Let's make these pieces light up like they should. So inside of that component, there is a stack group that is called everything. I'm opening that stack group up, and let's go to the layer of that stack group, and notice I have it set to vertical left. It's important to understand the alignment of these stack groups because we have several of them that make up this component, and it keeps everything nice and organized. And inside of that everything stack group, we've already created the time at the bottom in part 2. So you want to put that stack group inside of this everything stack group. The piece that we have to finish now is this one called the clock and 1248. We're actually going to make this clock, and we have the 1248 over here on the right. This is a stack group as well. So let's open that up. So with that clock and 1248, let's go to its layer, and we have it set to horizontal bottom. That allows all of these circles, and even this 1248, it allows everything to be lined up across the bottom horizontally. I also want you to notice the H pad here. That allows us to put a little bit of space in between all of these circles horizontally. So we're still inside of that stack group, and now let's talk about H1. H1 is going to be 2 pieces. It's a stack group. Notice it's a stack group, the icon there, and the layer here is vertical center, and we have a V pad. That's allowing us to pad vertically all of these circles that we're going to be creating. Back inside of the items of that stack group, we have a 1 and a 2. And these are actually overlap groups that sit in this vertically centered stack group. I know I'm talking about a lot of groups here, but this helps keep things organized. So let's go to the 1. I have this 1 selected right here, and inside of that overlap group, we have a shape. This shape is a circle. If I go inside of that circle, I have the circle size set to the size of that, and the way that we're cutting these things on and off is a paint option or a color option. So let me go to the paint, let's go to the color, and here is the code. So we've talked about a GV hour earlier in the series, and we've talked about text converter, and we've talked about cutting. Basically what this is saying is this: if TC cut GV hour 1, if the first character of our hour is equal to 1, we want to set this circle's color to GV hour C. And if it's not equal to 1, we want to set it to our off color, GV off C. Now over here, notice that's exactly what I have. The only time we want this circle to light up, this is the hours section, the minutes, and the seconds, but the only time we want this circle to light up is if the first character in our hours is a 1. So checking on that, let's back on out and let's go to this number 2. Now this is a special one because if I go to the layer of this overlap group, notice it says remove. And the reason why I set to remove is because I don't have the 24-hour cut on. Let me show you that real quick. So backing out of here, going back to the globals, and let's go cut the 24-hour on. Notice now we did have some colors changing too, but notice we had this circle showing. If I go back to the items, go into everything, go into the clock, go into H1, and let's go into that overlap group 2. If we go to its layer now, it is set to always because the 24-hour global is cut on. So if GV 24-hour is on, we always want to see it. Otherwise, we want to remove it. And I'll tell you what, I'll leave it on right now anyway. It doesn't really matter. So let's back out of here. That is the H1. Let's go over to H2, and you're going to start to see a pattern. Now, H2 is a little bit more involved, obviously. Look over here at all these. If I come down here to the 1 overlap group, which is this first circle down here, inside of that overlap group, we have a circle. If we go to its paint, let's check out the code. So now we're technically looking at the second character of our hours. So if TC cut GV hour, comma 1, comma 1. I talked about this in part 2, and technically what this is doing is looking at the second character. It's removing the first one, and it's looking at one character after the first. Now if you look over here at this circle, anytime we want this circle to light up is when we have a 1, 3, 5, 7, or 9 as the second character of our hours. So notice I have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and I'm separating each one of these codes with an OR. So it can be this, or this, or this, and so forth. If any of these conditions are met, we want to see our GV hour color. If these conditions are not met, we want it to be our off color. Now this works the exact same way for everything, except what we're going to do with the minutes and the seconds, we want to change our GV hour to GV min or GV sec. So let me just back out of here and let's come to the number 4 now. This is this one right here. Let's go to that circle, let's go to its paint, and let's go to the code. So we're talking about this one. Notice we got 4, 5, 6, or 7, and if that's the case, we want to see our hour color. If it's not, we want to see our off color. So notice we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So take this picture here, pause the video, and see if you can figure out the rest of it, but I'm going to go through and show you a few more as well. Some other things to bear in mind is the organization of this. We have a lot of stack groups, we have some overlap groups, but by you using the H pad and the V pad, everything should stay organized. So let's come on down. We've talked about H1, we've talked a little bit about H2. This shape right here is just going to be that rectangle, and I have its width set to the spacer global, and then I have the height of this thing. Check this out. The height is going to be the circle size times 4 plus the vertical padding times 3. Now what does all this junk mean? The most number of circles we will have is 4 vertically, so we're multiplying that by 4. Then the vertical padding, we have vertical padding here, here, and here. So we have 3 of them. So if we take our vertical padding times 3, this code will allow this line to dynamically change its height depending on what size you have your circles set to, as well as the vertical padding in between your circles. This height will always change, and as a matter of fact, it'll line up with the bottom of the first circle and the top of this 4th circle, this top circle up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out into these items inside of this clock, and I'm going to come to the, and I just noticed something here. Let me take this and change that M2. That needs to be S2, because this is our second character of our seconds. And as a matter of fact, now that I've changed that name, let's talk about this one. S2 is this one right here. And if I come into the 2 block, that's going to be the second one here. It's the same type of code. We have a circle, same globals. Go to paint, let's go to the code, and we're talking about this one right here. 2, 3, 6, or 7. 2, 3, 6, or 7. And notice we're looking at the seconds now. We're removing the first character and we're looking at one character after that. That's why we're looking at the second character, and notice it's the same type of setup. And if any of these conditions are met, we want to see our second color. Otherwise, we want to see the off color. Checking on that. And I guess it'll be worth it to show you the 1, 2, 4, 8 that we have over here. So let me come to that last stack group that we have. And it's nothing fancy here. I mean, if I come to the 1, it's going to be a circle and a text item. The circle has no color to it. As a matter of fact, if I go to paint, it has the transparent color. We had the circle size set to that. And the reason why I'm using circles that are technically invisible is just to keep everything nice and lined up. So backing on out of here, notice I have a text. It's simply a 1 because this is the 1 row, and this is the 2 row, the 4 row, and the 8 row, just like I talked about in the intro video. I have the text size set there. And then if you don't want to see this stack group, the 1, 2, 4, 8 stack group, if I go to its layer, I do have a code here. And if GV show 1, 2, 4, 8, if it is on, we always want to see it. Otherwise, we want to remove it. And if you've seen the pattern here, you will notice that the hours, the minutes, and the seconds have a lot in common, with the exception of a few things like the hours here. And, we're removing a circle up here because we never need to use an 8 for the minutes or the seconds, for that first character, that is, of the minutes and the seconds. So let's back on out of here to the globals, and just to kind of round everything out, if I come down here and I do show time, if I cut that off, the time is removed. Everything stays nice and centered. If I click on show 1, 2, 4, 8, that is removed, and notice everything still stays nice and centered. I can cut both of those back on. We can scroll on up to our circle size. We can make the circles a little bit bigger. We can adjust the horizontal padding. Maybe that's a little bit too much. We can take the vertical padding and space them out even more. And what I want you to notice here too is that these spacers here, they're still dynamically changing based on their height. Now, something around this size here on my device looks just fine, but you have plenty of options there. Don't make your text size too big, otherwise things may get a little bit wonky, but that's no big deal. Somewhere around 55 or 45 looks pretty good. Mess with your colors. I'm gonna cut my 24-hour off. And I'm going to cut my test back on. So now when you import this component, and again, you can find that in my free components folder, this is the look you should have. But with this mini series that I've done here, hopefully maybe you could create this on your own. And there you have it, a short series on creating a binary clock. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. And that's it for this video. I hope it helped.